Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're going to commence this program. Can we all rise now for the national anthem? Thank you very much. We can all have our seats. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to the retreat on designing Nipss strategic plan 2025-2029, organized by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in collaboration with the Alumni Association Institute. I have been directed to request that we please cover the seats in front. So we could just do as well. Please cover the seats in front. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's try and cover the seats in front. The special guest of honor of this occasion, Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson Jack, Global NNR, the head of service of the Federation, who I am very sure will soon join us. The Chief of Defense Staff, General CG, so I'm very Dr. Judith and Walker, Executive Director, DRPC, who is also being expected. Past presidents of the Alumni Association of the National Institute here present. Professor Tunji Olaiba, Chairman, Federal Service Commission, who is also expected. Let me recognize the management of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Nipss School. Let me also recognize former directors of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies who are here. The directing staff of the National Institute, who are also very well represented here. Distinguished discussants of this retreat, thank you so much for joining in. Let me recognize also the Alumni Association of the National Institute, members of the Alumni Association of the National Institute. Thank you so much for coming. We recognize you all. We also have the senior fellows and staff of the National Institute that are also here. Invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. We're all welcome to this occasion this morning, the opening ceremony on the retreat for designing Nipss strategic plan 2025-2029, which is organized by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in collaboration with the Alumni Association of the National Institute. To start this occasion this morning, I would like to invite the CEO, Director General of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Professor Ayo Omotaya, to come and give his address. Please welcome him to the podium. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Army members. Please, may I bring up the former Army President, Alhaji MD Abubakar, who's I will come to the item. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure on behalf of Nipss management to welcome you to this significant retreat dedicated to discussing the proposed new strategic plan 2025 to 2029. It is exciting to have very distinguished Nigerians who have honored the invitation given at short notice to be here to reflect on the future of the Institute by Nigeria. Let me especially acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Ambassador Tijani Muhammad Bande, GCON. Can we please give a round of applause? The former Director General of the National Institute and President of the 74th General Assembly of the United Nations, as well as now the district head of the state. Let me also recognize the past acting Director Generals and Directors at the National Institute who have graced this occasion. I don't believe they are here to grace the occasion, but they are here to contribute a big role in the success of the Institute. Big role in the success of the Institute. It is in this light that the presence of Army members in significant numbers is commendable. I think we need to call for Army members. I would also like to take this moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to all our other stakeholders, especially Development Research and Policy Center, DRPC, who have consistently supported Nipss. Please, can we please clap them? Your steadfast commitment and contributions have played a crucial role in helping us achieve our mission and objectives. It is through collaborations like this that we can amplify our impact and effect meaningful change in policy and governance. While much has been accomplished, it is important to acknowledge that there remains much work to be done. Aside from the customary and periodic renewal of our strategic plans, I believe we all recognize that the dramatic global megatrends and emerging national challenges in recent years necessitate this important initiative. Therefore, the significance of this retreat cannot be overstated. As we look ahead, developing a comprehensive and forward-looking strategic plan is essential for Nipss to effectively navigate the evolving landscape of policy development and strategic studies. This plan will not only outline our goals and priorities for the upcoming years, but also ensure our responsiveness to emerging challenges and opportunities within Nigeria and beyond. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am confident that the caliber of experts and individuals of goodwill present here will yield a practical framework that positions Nipss among the leading think tanks in Africa and beyond. I await your insights and conclusions throughout this retreat as they will be vital in shaping our strategic direction. I thank you all for taking the time to be here today. Your participation signifies a collective dedication to the growth and success of Nipss, and I truly believe that together we will create a compelling and innovative strategic plan that will guide us towards excellence in the coming years. Ladies and gentlemen, let us work together and make the most of this opportunity. I know we don't have the time, but now that we are here, let us be here. Ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of His Excellency the President of Bani, we are going to be using the Nipss style manual. So when you are here, you are here. Excellency, do I have your permission? I have your permission, sir. Which means that when you are here, you are here. You cannot take your phone. You cannot take phone calls. You are here, and you are here. Excellencies and gentlemen, I believe we will together make Nipss what it has not been. We will make it the fulcrum for change, not only in Nigeria, but all over Africa. Do not forget, these are tough times for the development of the developed world. These are tough times for the global south. And Nipss, as a strategic institution, must do all it can to guide not only Nigeria but Africa in facing the challenges ahead. I thank you so much for coming. I'm excited at the area of experts, and I know that what will come out of this deliberation will be for the betterment of Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I appreciate the Director General for his address. Thank you so much, the Director General, Professor Ayo Omotayo. We're still expecting the Chief of Defense Staff. I guess his representative will be here himself very soon. On this note, please join me to invite the President of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, Ambassador, Your Excellency, Ambassador Emmanuel Okafor, MNI, for his address.
The head of service hasn't come. DG Nipss, Professor Ayo Omotayo, the representative of the Chief of Army Staff, the past DGs, I call them Presidents Emeritus, wonderful members of the Nipss family. I've forgotten the indefatigable DG, past DG of Nipss, Professor Bande, who was also the former President of the General Assembly at United Nations, who also had navigated the Nipss to very great heights. But suddenly now they are becoming the district head. That means his services will continue. I also want to welcome very distinguished members of this Alumni Association who are here, the directing staff, and have said so much, just like Professor Brandon whispered to me, that with this caliber of personalities we have, there's no way we would have not made Nigeria better than what it is today. So I thank each and every one of you, because this retreat being packaged since last year, we wanted a situation where everybody will be brought on board to be able to talk to ourselves the truth. Why are we where we are, and where are we supposed to be? One former head of state met one of our president and say, oh, you are from Nipss. Fantastic, but it's like you are now living the flag that we gave to you. And that is why we're all here. I have a prepared speech, which I will, if you permit me, I will be able to go through it. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this two-day retreat on the Nipss Strategic Plan for 2029, organized by Nipss in collaboration with ANI. I want to pay special thanks to the DG. The last strategic plan ended in 2023. But with his wisdom, I've always called him a man of ideas. He has been able to package this section, and I have had several interviews with him. And I think he's somebody who really loves Nipss. But we can't give him the badge because he did not pass through Nipss. I've given him the badge in his hat, just like Professor Bande has also in his hat, and the other former DGs who are here. This is the first of its kind and indicative of the close working relationship that should exist between Nipss as a research institution and ANI as an advocacy. Because all the previous strategic plans had always been done by Nipss without much input from us. But this time around, the DG felt we have a lot to offer. And I can tell you that it has been very, very collaborative in our relationship. Please give him a round of applause. And is excited to be part of this initiative of deepening partnership towards the shaping of Nigeria's future. In the next 2 days, we will undertake a general appraisal of the Nipss Strategic Plan 2025 to 2029, and in particular, a critical review of the mission, vision, and mandate of Nipss, with a view to determining what went well and what went wrong, as a springboard for a more robust and proactive strategic plan for 2025 and 2029. This exercise will obviously entail the assessment of the role of ANI in actualizing the mandate of Nipss. As we embark on this critical exercise, I urge all of you to be dispassionate, frank, and innovative. We should be solely concerned with building a great future for not only Nipss and ANI, but our country as a whole. This process has no place for mediocrity, complacency, or grandstanding. It should be a family meeting where we should tell ourselves the truth and call a spade a spade. I must state from the outset that both Nipss and ANI have both underperformed. Our collective efforts have not created the required framework and political will for the implementation of the research outcomes from Nipss, which should be the major performance indicator for the two organizations. Yesterday I had a discussion with the DG Nipss, and he came up with a very bright idea. He said that each year, each sec must own the process. For example, this particular year, you will expect the sec to hold at least 2 or 3 conferences on his team as a tool of advocacy and a reminder to the government that we have done this research and they should implement it. I think that's a very good idea. Please give him a round of applause. As we navigate the complexities of Nigeria in the 21st century, characterized by problems, it's not peculiar to Nigeria, they are not popular to Nigeria. We have to fully activate the transformative power of research and development to harness our latent human and material resources to build a brighter future for ourselves and generations to come. Nipss and ANI can promote this process through sustained advocacy to create the political will and the policy framework for the effective implementation of the research findings and recommendations from Nipss. With these few remarks, I congratulate both Nipss and Annie for hosting this forum, which should be made an annual event towards restoring the.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Emmanuel Okafor. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Emmanuel Okafor LNI, President of ANI. Please let's appreciate him again. Permit me to introduce the former directing staff of the National Institute, who is currently the chairman of the Federal Service Commission, Professor Tunji Olaoba. It's really good to have you here, sir. We'd like to go into the goodwill messages, and to give us the first goodwill messages, please join me to welcome, as we wait for the Executive Director of the IPC, join me in welcome IGP retired MD Abubakar, CFR, NPM, MNRM, PSC, MNI, former President, ANI President. You're welcome, sir. Please let's welcome him. Let's welcome him as he comes up.
I think when you need to speak the truth, sometimes people need to see your face. Our DG, the Army President, representative of Chief of Defense Staff, former DGCR President, members of the High Table, my distinguished colleagues, members of ANI, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that we're here to speak the truth. Because the issue is not about strategic planning for Nipss. As far as I'm concerned, Nipss and ANI has done wonderfully well for this country. We have contributed so much in terms of research, development plan, policies, and strategies for this country. The issue is, let's speak the truth. Are they implemented? And Mr. President, I will disagree with my president of ANI today that ANI and Nipss have not done much. We have done so much for this country. All of us here. Because the policies are there. Are they implemented? They are kept in the shelves. So where do we go from there? And the question is, we are doing a strategic plan for Nipss for 2025 to 2029. What are all those previous strategic plans and research and policies that Nipss have done through each and every one of us here? Where are they? I think we need to ask this very important question to government. The problem of this country is not about conferences or speeches or symposiums or training. It's about implementation of such outcomes of conferences and research and policies of government. Every year, people graduate from Nipss. Unfortunately enough, they go to see Mr. President, who is the #1 citizen of this country, who ordinarily our expectation that whatever is discussed is accepted, and the President will give kudos to the graduates and say, thank you so much, we shall implement this policy. The question to all of you here is, how many policies have been implemented since we passed out? I had passed out 20 years ago. I know many who are past more than that are here. How many of these policies have been implemented? And lastly, I had my president say that we need to through the DG, be having this kind of seminar and conferences? How? Who funded it? Is NIPS in position to even take its own students to where they are supposed to be? We know the challenges. And Mr. President, you remember what happened to the last set of students who have not graduated. This is the biggest shame that has happened in this country. It's a shame. There are other institutions who came behind this. They are better funded. Are those going to this from Ghana? Are those going to the other places from Nigeria? No. So these are the questions we need to ask. If we need to speak the truth here, we need to speak the truth. Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate him once again. That is very message. To give his own goodwill message is Lieutenant General O.O. Oluyede, MNI, Chief of Army Staff, who is well represented here by Major General S.T. Audu from the Department of Training, Army Headquarters. You're welcome for your goodwill message.
National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies. Distinguished excellencies and brethren, permit me to stand on the already established protocol. But before I go into what the chief gave me to come and present, please permit me to recognize the presence of Major General Onoja, who is our mentor. And sir, I want to tell you the young men you left behind as second lieutenants. He gave us, that time we don't know what is strategic guidance, but he made us to make wise selection of career in the military. And sir, we have not found most of us, or few of us, have been able to make 2-star general. Thank you very much for your strategic guidance. Well, the Army staff wish we have been a member of this very strategic and important argument. Unfortunately, because of exigency of operations and one of the issues, directed me right to come here. I'm going to preach his own speech, his own remarks and Google message. Where I say I mean the chief of army and not myself. To his remarks and Google message. Remarks by the Chief of Army Staff on the occasion of retreat on National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Strategic Plan 2025-2029, held at the Race International Hotel Abuja on Tuesday, 18th to Wednesday, 2025. It is indeed a great honor and privilege to be in your midst today for this auspicious occasion of the retreats of National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Nipss for short, Plan 2025-2029. Firstly, I would like to thank Almighty God by whose special grace and mercy I stand before you to speak and also make it possible for you to assemble here for these noble stakeholder discussions for the development of strategic plan for 2025 to 2029. Therefore, it is important that we all have appreciate the Almighty God for the safe arrival for this important occasion. I wish to use this opportunity to congratulate you all for being selected by your various institutions as key stakeholders to come together, attend these important deliberations. I therefore urge you to use this opportunity given to you by putting in your best throughout the period to bring good ideas and innovations that will bring good strategic plan that will mitigate development and contemporary security challenges. There is no other time than now that our nation needs a new strategic direction. Therefore, this timing for this occasion is very apt at the time when Nigeria needs new ideas and innovations to move it forward. Currently, the Nigerian Army is being positioned to professionally contain and destroy all forms of threat to Nigeria from both within and its borders. We must exploit the current dynamics and the changes in the world order to see how we can position Nigeria better. These will be achieved by coming up with sound strategic plans to support the government policies during your deliberations. It is my fervent belief that the interactions you will have will bring the desired plan that will chart the way forward for me to come up with necessary strategic knowledge and skilled proper solutions to the next millennium as envisaged in the topic. This will also further bind the alumni in their future endeavors. I am indeed delighted to be part of this common event, which I believe will further bind the alumni. On this note, I would like to most sincerely appreciate the Director General, Professor Ayo Motai, for his untiring effort towards making Nipss a great place for impacting strategic knowledge to our officers among other Nigerians. Let me also appreciate the organizing committee for putting up this important program in this conducive environment. To the participants, I pray Almighty God will renew your strength and energy to undertake discussions that will come up with innovative ideas and solutions that will fit into strategic plan that will stand the test of time. Finally, I wish you fruitful deliberations and God bless.
Thank you so much. That was the goodwill message of the Chief of Army Staff. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it once again. I would like to call on some past presidents of Army to give us some few words. And I've been directed to also request that it shouldn't be more than 2 minutes, please. Just 2 minutes for a goodwill message. On this note, I would like to invite Engineer M.G. Umar, MNI, for a goodwill message. You're welcome, sir. Please let's appreciate him as he comes up.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to stand on the existing protocol already established. I think this kind of interaction with the management of Nipss and ANI is extremely important because, in my thinking, ANI and Nipss are like Siamese twins. In the past, from my experience, I was ANI president from 2005 to 2009. And it appeared to me at that time that the management of Nipss and ANI seemed to be competing for something. I don't know what it is. There is always this silent and apparent what Annie is doing. I will never go back to Annie to study again, never in life. I've passed through this. I've had my career, and I'm still doing what I wish to do as an engineer. So I think the issue, just like MD Abubakar said, M&I, that what we need to do in our sessions, and I will have more time to discuss my ideas, is we have what I call overall quality control. We need to do that very seriously. And we start, as an engineer, I would say, we start with the raw materials, that is the participants. You need to really check and ensure that you have people that have the requisite qualification to go and study in Nipss. That has been a little bit problematic in the past, but I think we need to do that. Then we look at the managers, the foremen, and the ordinary workers. I'm talking about the directing staff, the general staff in Nipss. We really need to, especially directing staff, we need to know that there are people who can impart the knowledge through their experiences so that the participants will come out better. And the third thing I think we need to do is to look at the number of participants. When I went to Nipss, there were only 45 of us. And we did all our study tours without any issues. And it was a 2-week study tour. We went to Europe, we went to other places. We need to look at that also, because Nipss really is not supposed to be a secondary school. That is where there are stringent conditions for participants to enroll in Nipss. And the fourth thing we should do is to look at the program of studies. We have to look at topical issues that we study, write position papers, and policy options for the government to implement. We also need to look at the verification of participants' projects. We've had all kinds of stories, but since we don't have anything to prove, some people, it is alleged, have their projects written for them. That's not the whole idea. We have had it, and we can prove that that is the case. But we need to impart on the external examiners. During that, we have all written projects before, either during the Master's or PhD program. And the external participants will actually ask you questions, and from there they will know whether you actually wrote the report or not. So we need to examine that, because if we want quality participants to graduate, this is something we need to do. The second to the last is the appointment of governing board members. There was somebody, who was appointed to the board of governors of Nipss. He called me and said, "What kind of thing do you do there?" He said, "We train people." He said, "Do you give contracts?" Because he's a politician. I said, "Well, I wouldn't know." So we need to actually search properly and put people that will in sync with the management, do what is right for Nigeria. Then the one that MD Abubakar M&I said, Nipss research output for implementation towards the better society. This is, I think, one of the weakest points about Nipss. We do the work, we come out with researches. For instance, I remember when they talked about refuse, recycling refuse to generate energy. It was a very good research project, and if we had implemented that, would be a better society. So these are some of the points. There are quite a few, but since I've been given only 2 minutes to speak, I will take my leave. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, and Engineer and Mark and I. next person to come up for his goodwill message is Major General Zonoja MNI, one of the past presidents of the Alumni Association of the National Institute. Sir, you're welcome for just 2 minutes. Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. President, members of the High Table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and of course distinguished colleagues, my name is Onoja, I'm a member of SEC 1990. And at that time, the DG was Major General Paul Omo. The first DG of Nipps was Brigadier General Undeko. We used to call him, because I was also a teacher in middle school area before going to NDA. And we used to call him Physics Master. And at that time, when he became the first DG of Nipps, there was direction. Because he had visited other similar institutions outside Nigeria, and he came with an aim and objective. The second person who became the DG Nipps was Major General Ndiomu. I'm taking you down memory lane, setting the stage for discussions much later, so that we know exactly how we are going to tell ourselves the truth and why we think we shouldn't. All right. The third person followed, and then Joseph Garba late. With their social residence. Now, let me just finish this, then my message will be ended. Now, to set the stage, I think that the critical starting point for any discussion on this issue is for us to remember the speech of General Obasanjo in 1999, when he said, this speech was given in 1999, I'm a historian. He said, and I quote, when it was set up many years ago, it was our firm expectation that with the high caliber of operators we insist on, excellence would be an implementation in the environment here. Now, on the threshold of a new millennium, the hope which we invested in the National Institute is by no means diminished. Indeed, the formidable challenges and opportunities envisioned in the global village make such an institution doubly relevant. I thought this would lay a foundation for our future discussion, and I wish the meeting is successful.
Thank you very much. Major General Zonoja MNI. To also give a goodwill message, it's a very seasoned administrator who was one-time former Acting Director General of Nipps and also a former Secretary and Director of Administration of the National Institute. Please welcome for a goodwill message, Mr. Jonathan Juma Elohani.
The Director General of the National Institute, the former Director General of the National Institute, Professor Muhammad Tijani Bande,
Assembly, other members of the High Table, distinguished members of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, and management staff of the National Institute, good morning to you all. I am indeed very happy to be invited to this retreat and to also give a goodwill message. The subject of our discussion during this 2 days retreat was the subject of the retreat we had in Obudu in 2016, shortly before Professor Bande left. You were president and you were also at the retreat. I know Comrade Issa was also at the retreat as the Secretary General of the Alumni Association. And as an outcome of the retreat, we agreed that Nipss should develop a master plan or a strategic plan. And the idea is that the plan will guide the National Institute the next 4 years. And I'm happy that we developed the strategic plan and the Governing Council in 2018 approved the implementation of the plan. And when we agreed to implement, the idea is that there will be midterm review to look at how well we have implemented the plan, what the challenges we encountered were, and how we can address these challenges going forward before the end of the plan period. For certain reasons, we will not have the midterm review. The plan period ended in 2023. But I'm happy that we have created time and resources to be here to review what we did and then to chart a new course going forward. And I believe that all of us will contribute meaningfully and in an honest manner with a view to ensuring that we give the National Institute a document that can be defended anywhere. So I want to thank you for accepting to be here, and I believe that we will all work collectively at ensuring that Nipss rises above what it is today to a height that will be available and emulated by other institutions around the world. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have come to the climax of this opening ceremony. And to give an address, I would like to invite Ambassador Tijani Mohamed Bande, GCON, former Director General of the National Institute, permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, and President, 74th session of the General Assembly of the United Nations. Okay, I'm very sorry about that, sir. Thank you for giving me this permission. Please join me to welcome Brigadier General Sergio retired MNI, former Acting Director General of the National Institute, and also former Secretary and Director of Administration of the National Institute. Please welcome him for a good message. Thank you.
President of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, the Director General of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, invited guests, good morning. It's a long time that I've spoken behind the microphone. I think the last time I spoke was when I left Nipss so many years ago. Since then I've not but I think that, first and foremost, let me first of all congratulate the DG for organizing this forum, because
back when I was in Nipss, so many times we have contemplated taking a review of the strategic plan for the National Institute, and there's so many contentious issues, time not being available, resources not being available, has constrained the exercise, because it's not for not realizing the need for it, but because we didn't have the time and the resources. For the DG to have found the time and to have found the resources and to have brought this eminent, in fact I'm surprised at all the people that are here, even General Moja coming in spite of his surgery. It's, I congratulate the DG. Congratulations, DG. And I implore all of us that this exercise, we can't cut ourselves from the umbilical cord of the National Institute. I was discussing with ABM Uche the other day. I told him that once you have passed through the National Institute, and once you have had a connection with the National Institute, that it is difficult for you to separate yourself from the National Institute. And because of this, I think that we should bring all the seriousness that this exercise requires, so that we can give to the National Institute a befitting plan that will support the National Institute to forge through the future. Going forward, the contestation for the space are so many. There are so many other schools coming up, many other institutions coming up, contending with the National Institute. And we need to still remain at that top where we are. And not just remaining at that top, continue to deliver quality strategic training for Nigerians. On this note, I want to welcome all of us and wish all of us well throughout this period. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I call on Ambassador Tijani Mohamed Bende, GCON, please permit me to welcome another former acting DG of Nipss and former Director of Research of the National Institute, Professor Ugo Alubo, for 2 minutes to the message. Thank you.
Just very briefly, I want to start on the existing protocol, and I want to appreciate this opportunity to speak at this time. I think that this is a very important meeting to plan ahead. I have a friend who is in educational planning and administration. I keep saying, those who fail to plan, they are likely to plan to fail. So basically, I am slated on the program to make a speech during the second session. So there's no need to jump the gun. I just want to say that Nipss is now a major tribe in Nigeria. If you look at the caliber of all the people invited, you come to Abuja here, you go to the ministries, departments, and agencies, Nipss has a representation there. You go to the armed forces, Nipss has a representation there. So that Abubakar will not challenge you. You go to the police, Nipss has a representation there. And the question to ask is, all this representation in high and low places, traditional rulers, civil society, including my comrade who is pretending to be writing, and the armed forces, ministries, departments, and agencies, in what ways have they come back to support the institutes? Many of the problems I hear about, I don't hear about many things. If we had a stronger alumni, and if we had a stronger support from those that went there as participants, and those that work there, like some of us, I think Nipss would have been a better place than it is now. I'll rest my case there and hope to speak later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Alubo. On this note, we would want to call on the former Director General of the National Institute, permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, and President 74th Session of the General Assembly of the United Nations, Ambassador Tijani Mohammed Bondi, GCON. Please welcome him, let's welcome him. This is the climax of this opening ceremony of his inauguration.
Yeah, there's no 3 minutes for GCON. I think that's agreed. I think let me simply really join all of you in thanking the Institute for thinking to do this. And I'll explain why so. But let me remember the whole Kuru to say I beg to stand on a written protocol. So that it's not said that African man has forgotten a Munchi man. Sayo was number 2 as DG. Am I right?
Yes.
So, Justice Sayo.
Professor.
Yes. No, so that it's not said African man has forgotten a Munchi man. Let it be very clear. I want it very clear. So let me say this. Whatever needs to be said has been said in brief by the previous speakers. I just want to add 2 things. One is that there really is no institute in this country or in the continent like Nipss. There isn't. And this whole alone tells you a clear story from those who have labored in Nipss, from the clerical level to the highest level of administration to stay in Nipss, to sociologists, even sociologists have been tolerated in Nipss, and to intelligence officials who come to study at the university, to those in diplomacy, and soldiers, and policemen, even prison people. So there is nothing like this. So what Nipss can bring to Nigeria is clear. So many things are missing, obviously. I mean, first, I've been described as former. I've been former many things, like many people who are considered former. I mean, but I'm in touch with traditional rulers who are in Step 1. One of them is Emir Bandu. And the commitment participants just passing will have to meet is what he has. And when General Roger spoke about this new brand, this is really what it is. People are committed to the ideals of the Institute. That is why we have elders here who I'm sure have better things to do. But when it calls, it's difficult to say no. We have other people who are not yet elders, but they are committed to the project of Nipss. I think I've seen, so because there will be many spaces to say that sense in the course of this 2-day interaction. What is clear is that we shouldn't rest on our oars. The depth of conflict and its spread in our country means we have not done as we should have done. Let's be very clear. If there is no crisis, we can't talk of failure. There has been sustained crisis in all our communities. And in all our communities, there are Nipss graduates. There are also graduates of other strategic institutions. I say it because this is unique. There's no question, and the responsibility therefore must be placed on Nipss. And I would say that I've been perhaps the luckiest of the DGs of Nipss. Because first, we had disagreements with this and this, but not because I was DG, but because we had different things to, we fix it differently commitments. But I never had conflict, and you know how it was. In the case, and I had also the chairman of the board, who was the only person who was both DG and DG and the chairman. So what would the conflict be for me? I had a historian who has been the director of studies, who is my elder brother and friend, who was always around for me to talk to in Jos. I also have a sociologist who was also an elder brother of mine, both in Jos and Sokoto, who would guide me. I had every staff of the institute committed to the vision. So that is how Nipss should continue to work. I have seen chapters of Nipss, of Annie rather, having conversations about important national events. I think this is one way to go. When they do this, they should invite at least leadership of some of the chapters to participate, so that it's not a conversation about a state, but a conversation about the country. We should do a lot of this. But let us be clear, we may have, I've seen distinguished lawyers in Nipss, I've seen Peter Tangi, I've seen a number of people here, we've seen the ambassadors who will deal with conflicts and all kinds of things. We have academics here. We can navigate partly perhaps through service, but I do not think that we have enough gravitas in the political sphere of the country. I think this is a major gap, which in my view, we need to fill, not by carrying party cards, no, by insisting that we are a policy institute for the country, and we see these things in a manner very clear in the way we pursue our researches, and then we are clear about why we are saying this. If we do this, some of the difficulties that Engineer Omar raised, I think, can be addressed. We have 20 in the civil service and in the academy. We can negotiate, we can navigate that space. But the political sphere, we had only one governor that I recall who was an alumnus. Two? Bob Miller? And who? I thought we had only one. So we have two. We have two. We have two. We have two. But what I'm saying is that this is not enough. And have we actually engaged in concerning Nipss? So we enter there not as politicians, but because whether we like it or not, you cannot do policy out without politics. There is no way. You say, okay, we have research papers that are not being implemented. They are implemented through a political process. I think this negotiation is what the elders should guide us to do without becoming politicians. I think this is one of the gaps we can, among other things. But let me say, Nipss is still a brand. And let us not catch Nipss people saying that they are dead, because they are not dead. All the others who are trying to be like, let them try. There's nothing wrong with them trying to be like Nipss. I don't think you hold it against anybody wanting to be like you. What you should remind you is to continue to be you. Let me close by saying that I'm very happy to have been invited to be in this retreat and to obviously learn one or two things about what we can do to better the country. Thank you very much.
Keep appreciating him until he sits. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your honor. So by way of announcement, we'll have a 30 minutes break, tea break, and then come back for the first session. And immediately after the national anthem, we'll also take a group photograph here in the hall. So may I request that we all rise now for the national anthem. will take the group photograph, please.
are going to take the picture. Can we settle? So we take the picture. Let's look up, please. Are we done? Please hurry up, hurry up. Are we done? Are we done?